How are all my people today? Andy here. I love our time on Thursday, helping you build a career you love. Get in the chat, say hey. Let me know where you're watching from. Put a hashtag and some of my programs in there if you have any of them. Question marks in front of your questions because we're going to do a great Q&A. Today is about being happier at work, but it's just so much more than that. So I would like to give a few shout outs first, then I'll tell you what today's all about. Computer nerd, whoever you are, great to have you. Andy, what's up, Andy? R. Merkel. I saw Michelle from Wisconsin, Michelle Lee from Nash Vegas, Terry from Sacramento, Christine, how are you? Barbara Lee, Mary Lou, Beth. Oh, Deb, I got a whole bunch of my boot campers. Adam Stark from the other side of the pond, Peter Lee, a devoted attendee. Great to have you all. So, on my channel, I teach you about how to find jobs and thrive in them. And today I have something of a blend about being happier at work. I've got a half a dozen lessons. We can call them secrets. I would call them really good tactics that actually will, I guess, feed two birds with the same piece of bread. Because if you follow me for a while, I think that your trajectory in life is more important than where you are at any moment in time. And when we talk about being happy in a situation, what makes you happy is not just what you're doing at any moment, but how you're feeling about your overall situation, right? If you're moving in the right direction, you see yourself making progress, you usually feel happier. Now, happiness is a state of mind. It is something that is present. If you think happiness happens when or is somewhere in the future, I always say you're 100% right, because it will never be wherever you are. It will always be somewhere else. But I do think that there are things that we can do day in and day out that make us feel happier about our jobs. And I am not going to go through anything silly and trite like smile and keep a good attitude and be positive and be a team player. I'm not giving you any of that nonsense. You know all that already. I want to give you some very prescriptive things that I think, number one, will help you do your job better, feel better about what you've done, and position you should you need to bail out, should you need to leave, or if you get let go, will position you to find that next job. Sound good? All right, now, one thing I want to tell you is that a lot of you know that I've been an executive recruiter for a very long time. Between 2004 and 2019, I did it 100% of the time. And one of the things that I would do whenever I would interview somebody or try to recruit them or talk to them or network with them or whatever it might be is I would ask them, what are the reasons why you changed jobs? Just very quickly, what made you go from one to the next? Why did you quit? Top 3 reasons that people gave me. I didn't like my boss. I wasn't learning anything, or I wasn't really making an impact or learning. I didn't believe in the corporate vision or where we were going as a company. That's generally why most people quit. 4 out of 5 people quit because of their boss. So I would love to know from you in the chat, what are some of the things that make you unhappy at work? I'd love to see that right now, because I'm going to dive into what I think are the 6 things that I would do to make myself feel better, not just in my current job, but really about my career. And so get in the chat. Let me know, what are some of the things that bum you out? And I'm going to start yapping, and then we're going to look back after I go through number 1. I'll look at the chat, and we'll kind of call some of these out. So, first thing, going back to what I just said about some of the top 3 reasons why people quit their jobs, their boss, they're not learning anything, they don't believe in the corporate vision, is the first thing that I would absolutely do to make myself feel better about anything, any day of my life, would be, number 1, to create a career development plan and build skills. So this all goes together. Put the plan together and then execute it. And why do I want to do this? Well, you might have a pretty good career if you're good at your job, but you will have an epic career if you work on yourself. The more you work on yourself, as opposed to specifically your job and those skills, the stronger you'll be, the more freedom you'll have, the more things you'll be able to do, the greater the impact you'll have. And so you might be wondering, well, hey, Coach Andy, what goes into building a career development plan and a skill building plan? Now, the first remark I'm going to tell you is, well, if you would just show up on August 6th at 1:30 Central Daylight Time, I'm going to teach you the whole thing, like section, chapter, verse, and everything that goes into it. But for the incredibly impatient, I'm going to give you what I think needs to go into the plan right now so that you actually can collect this information, evaluate it, and work your skills. So let me see. Which way's the card go? Here we go. These are career development plan, skill building plan inputs. What are your goals? What skills do I need to build in order to achieve these goals? What are the lessons that are going to teach me how to build the skills? What tools do I need to practice the skills, execute the skills? Coaches, Coach Andy's right there up on the top of the list, but you might need a few more coaches, right? The calendar, well, it needs to be time-based. I need deadlines. I need checkpoints. I need progress check-ins. So I've got to have a calendar, and I want to associate what I'm building to coincide with when I need to use the skill in real life. Maybe you got a presentation coming up next month, something like that. I want to see that on the calendar, and I want to be working my skill development in alignment with when I need the skill and when I can actually execute the skill in real life. Practicing on live targets works better. And then tracker. What kind of progress am I making? What is my potential abilities? Where am I now? And how am I going to measure that? Many people fail because they don't have 7 and they really, really don't have 8, which is metrics. How are you actually going to evaluate that you're getting better? It might be, I'm cranking out the widget faster. I'm cranking out more widgets in the same amount of time. Those could be metrics. Or it might be, I'm smoother with the way I deliver that presentation. I just feel more confident. My boss tells me I'm better. Whatever the appropriate metrics are, you got to have it. Now, I wasn't kidding. August 8th, the zebra code comes out. You can have it at your doorstep, on your e-reader, or in your earbuds the day my fourth child is going to be slung out into the world, and we're having a party that day, 1:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and I'm going to teach you how to build this. And it's also in the book. So number one is I would make sure that I am taking responsibility. And before I look at the chat here and see what some of the issues are that are ailing you in your happiness, I want you to remember, no matter what you're going through in any aspect of your life, it makes no difference. The more you take a step, the more you do something that helps you feel in control of the situation, the happier you will be. So I have observed managing many, many people. I've executed managing many people. And one of the things that I can tell you is if I give you a choice and you choose as a staff member on my team, A or B, you pick, I'll give you the choice. If you pick the wrong one and you decide later that you chose incorrectly, you won't be as mad than if I would have told you, you just got to do B because you felt in control. And you will actually feel better because you feel like you made the choice. The same thing works when it comes to anything else in our lives. It's the fact that I am choosing to take control of my career development. Yes, it would be awesome if your employer actually had training programs for you, assigned a mentor that you absolutely loved, who actually cared about your development. But that's not reality, and most of us don't have that, even those of us that work for the largest companies. So take control, right? You can outsource a lot of things, but you can't outsource your own career. So own it. All right, that's the first thing. All right, now let me see what are some of the things that make people unhappy at work. Kara is telling me, let's see, maybe let me try to get to Mary Lou or whoever was first on that list so I can show you all. Here we go. Is it lack of opportunity? Okay, here we go. Let's get everybody here looking at the chat. Okay, Mary Lou, how are you? Lack of opportunity. Okay, so wait, this addresses some of that. Make your own opportunities, right? It's invest the time. Jim Abrahams, how you doing, buddy, from down the block? Stagnant environment. So here again, I'm not growing. I'm not making a greater impact. Things are kind of flatlining, right? Andy, what's up? Too many meetings and micromanagement. Oh, amen. I could tell you as a consultant and an executive recruiter, I could tell you the level of proficiency and the environment, the positive environment of an organization by the number of meetings they have. It shows an incredible lack of managerial prowess. The more meetings you have, much of the time you're having meetings to actually solve problems that somebody should have already solved or given you direction on how to carry out. So I'm totally with you on that. Michelle, passive-aggressive managers to direct reports, but leadership never sees it. Okay, so bad management, lack of leadership, no accountability. Nice, man. How are you? Cherry, what's up, my baby girl? How's Canada doing? Managers who don't know the concept of being an actual leader. That's right. Managing people is not being a leader. It's being the manager of people. Those are not synonymous. So these are some really good ones. Managers throwing people under the bus. So basically, Amy M not having their back. All right, so you guys are hitting on a lot of the good ones, right? These are very, very common. And I mean, the systemic level of issues that organizations have with these kinds of things are ever present, which is all the more important reason why you need to take control yourself. All right, number two. Well, actually, wait, number one, just to echo what I said in the opener, right? This is great about your current situation, and it's helping you do your job better because you're growing skills. But number two, what this is doing is it's positioning you for the future. Same thing. This is like a quadruple header, not a double header. Career Achievements Journal, anyone? This is the career diary. All of you that follow me and have been in Andy Land for a while have one of these. I'm so proud of you for doing that. Any of you who are absolutely new and just found me 5 minutes ago, let me tell you what the Career Achievement Journal is. I want you to think about all those times that you had to job search and you were trying to recollect, what the hey did I do over at company XYZ 5 years ago, right? If you left that to memory, you're never going to remember. The other thing you won't remember is the impact you have. You won't be able to put this stuff down on your resume with any level of information or what I like to call teeth. And heaven forbid you get into a job interview and you actually need to explain to somebody what transpired. How are you going to leave it up to memory to recall all of that? We don't want you to do that. So I want you to keep this Career Achievements Journal, and I'm going to blitz through these 14. And the reason I'm going to blitz through it is because Kara's going to put the Career Achievements Journal in the chat because I give it away free. Actually, Kara, you know what? Can you also give them, while I'm at it, the skill building booklet? There's a 47-page booklet that includes my skill building methodology. Feel free to take both of these as my gifts for you today. All right, Career Achievements Journal, what's Andy talking about here? Well, what's the project? The project could be something that you did in a day. It could be something that you did in a week. It could be something that you do every day all year long, or it could be a year-long project, a 3-month project. It makes no difference. What was the project? Give me some stats. Stats could be, Andy, there was 50 people on the project. We had 7 teams in 3 countries. We had a problem where we were losing 10% of our customers every month. Anything that you can quantify, something that paints you a picture in your mind to understand order of magnitude. What was the business problem I was trying to solve? My customer service reps couldn't answer the calls fast enough. Our IVR was overloaded. The wait time was terrible. When they got on the phone, it took them too long to answer the customer's problems. We were losing customers. That's what I'm talking about. Players, who was involved, right? We had me. We had the committee, we had the stakeholders, we had the software vendors. Who was part of the process? What was the solution? What happened as a level of results that you could show, tangible and intangible? What were the ultimate benefits that you actually created? Grade 8, if you don't know what that is. What were the challenges and how did you overcome them? If you had to start this project over again, knowing what you know now, in hindsight, what would you do differently? This is really, really important stuff. What lessons did you learn? How did you develop? How did your company develop? And then overall, what were the total victories? I'm not just talking about the benefits and those kind of things. Like, who won? How'd you win? Who's better off as a result? These 14 things. And I will tell you, I actually went I took the step to actually write the benefits of this down because I don't want you to miss this. This is a 4-banger. Why would I want to have this journal? Well, don't you go in for performance reviews and promotions. Don't expect your boss to be able, hell, you couldn't even remember this stuff. How is your boss going to remember this stuff. Does your boss truly understand all the benefits that went along with this? All the political capital you earned internally, all the capital you earned externally, how much easier it is for you to market your product, how much more the internal customers love you, how much faster they're doing your job. Do not expect your boss, who's got his or her own problems, to remember this stuff. So, we're talking promotions. We're talking resume bullets, people. We're talking interview stories. And as I like to say, it's very therapeutic because why? It's a reflection exercise that shows you that you're probably actually impacting the organization and its customers or your internal teams or your boss or your staff more so than you think. And why is that? Why do I know that to be true? Because you don't stop for a minute to think about it. And the minute you think about it, and the minute you prompt yourself to think about it and to look for the good in, that's when it comes. Who's tracking with me? Give me I'm tracking in the chat. This is a big, big deal. Career Achievements Journal, grab it. It's free. And I want you to make sure that you're capturing it. And if you're wondering how long should I be spending doing that, whatever it takes, jot some notes. You can always add to it. But the fresher it is in your mind, the better it is. A lot of this stuff you can collect up front, right? What's the project? What's the scope? What are the benefits we're shooting for? What are the players involved? Just start jotting it down real time. When you're done, as you do things, update it as well. Okay, number 3. All right, this is an extension of the Career Achievements Journal, but I wanted to call this out separately. I want you to focus on the value you're creating. Max out the personal ROI. Okay, this just literally just popped into my head. I had no intention of saying this and giving this to you as an example. But I laugh because people, especially when I talk with them in one-on-ones or if I meet them at a meetup or something like that, and they say, Andy, you show up every Thursday, you teach, you answer questions, and you answer the same questions every single Thursday. How is it that you are so polite and it really looks like it brings you joy to be able to answer the same question for the 1500th time? Now, a lot of you, I want you to envision showing up to your job. Some of you might be living this right now, and you're doing the same thing over and over again. Wouldn't you say that me showing up every Thursday and answering your questions, the same question that I've asked a million times, is the same thing? That's right. Except that, number one, I know that person might have just found me and hasn't seen my 80,000 hours of videos, and that's okay. And from an empathetic standpoint and a genuinely wanting to serve standpoint, I remind myself of that every single week, every time I turn a camera on for that matter, multiple times a week. But from are you getting better at your skills? Are you getting better at your craft? Can I not use that same question to say it better, answer it faster, think of better analogies to use to help that person maybe have it register better, maybe try to think of creative examples based on what the person's function is or something of that nature? My point to you is, I'm not just answering your question because I am here to serve you, but what I am also here to do every week is work on my skills, work on my presentation, make it more fun. Part of my presentation isn't just delivering the content, it's making it fun for you. Job searching sucks. It really sucks. It's lonely. How can I make it better for them? Are there ways I can improve what I'm doing? And so all of this is maxing personal ROI. You asking me questions, even if they're the same questions or there's some new ones that might slip in, is also helping me keep current on what's most prevalent in the market. Also keeping me up to date on latest trends, latest issues, latest things that employers or recruiters or whoever are doing. So to you, I say, if you step back and look at how can I make this as valuable to me as possible? Yeah, and as valuable to the company, of course, but I'm talking about you in the context of your happiness. Well, if you step back and you look for ways for that to have joy in what you're doing, you're going to be happier. Personal ROI. So that's number 3. Number 4, I mentioned this about control earlier in the talk, but a lot of times you can get on a committee Or if you don't have committees, I'll give you examples of what I mean. Form one. Suggest that you have one. If you feel like the management team isn't listening, if you feel like the management team doesn't get it, if you feel like the management team is out of touch with what's happening on the front lines, if you don't have an employee advisory committee that is taking representatives from either different functions within the division, somebody from the business analyst side of the equation, somebody from the technology development side of the equation, somebody from the QA team, somebody who's in the user, but whatever it is, and create an advisory council of an employee group of people that is representation in different levels and different functions, whatever makes sense, that is counselors to the management team to keep them in tune with what's happening with the employees, so that number one, you understand your employee base and don't make any assumption that any managerial team actually knows that. And number two, also looks for ways to help keep the employees happy. What are opportunities we can create? Are there better ways we can do things? It could be, I'm big on generating creative ideas and having formulas to do that, but employee-centric committees can do that as well. So either try to get on. I know a lot of companies have these. I participated on them. I organized them for the staff, or I was part of them as an employee, as a staff person. When I was working in corporations, I know a lot of organizations have them. If the organizations don't have them, perhaps consider trying to generate one and getting yourself on it so that you can actually contribute. Look, I live in a homeowners area, and anybody who lives in, we all have our own individual homes, but we're part of a homeowners association where we have a community. I know people that live in condominiums or townhomes or brownstones and things of that nature usually have a homeowners association. I don't want to participate on the association because I don't have any time to do that. But I also don't beef when they come up with decisions, approaches, or whatever that I might not agree with. I figure somebody else is handling it. But if I had a real problem, I'd get on the committee. I'd run for president and I'd run the thing. But I don't want to do that. But so it's my way of saying, if you are unhappy, take action. Don't just complain about it. All right. This goes back to the taking control part. All right. Next thing. How about a network? Now, if you're in your job and you're not looking for a job, I still want you to be building your network, because why? Because when you lose your job, you get fired or you leave, and you come here to my Thursday Live Office Hour shows and you say, Andy, I need tips on job search networking. I'm going to say the best time to plant the tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today, and so on. You get the idea. I just think that having a systematic way of networking, even if you just are fully employed, maybe you've just started a new job. If you started a new job, I would have a network plan in place where every other Friday or every Friday I was reaching out to new people and people that I knew, maybe a mix of a few, maybe pick 5, 6 people, 3 you know, 3 you don't, and just try to reach out and start building relationships. I have videos on how to do this. I have multiple videos on how to job search network and how to just do overall professional business networking. But I would say to you that if you are unhappy, it's a good idea to meet people. Number one, it's just a healthy thing to do. Meeting new people has a way of freshening us up a bit. But also, I would try to meet people that are in your neighborhood, as far as, I don't mean location, but I'm talking about business function. Create opportunities, find networking groups that you could go to that are educational, not job searching related. If you go to a job search networking physical group where you're actually going, everybody's looking for a job. Go to a networking meeting where people are networking with each other because they're all employed and they're educating each other. They have guest speakers and everybody's handing out business cards. That's what I would try to do. So networking, that's another one. And then the last one is, I wanted to cap off with this. Ask for what you want. If there's something missing, ask for it. If you're not getting paid enough, ask for a raise. If management is out of tune, ask them to get in tune. And a way to get in tune, and a suggestion that would be helpful, is, can we get a committee together? Can we give you some insight into what it looks like to live a day in the life of us, or whatever it is, or what our customers are saying? But whatever it is that you want, you need to ask for it. If it's more responsibilities, ask for that. If it's more responsibilities that are leading up to a promotion that's coming in a couple months, fine. But ask. A lot of time, I know this may sound obvious, but a lot of people simply do not ask. They would rather commiserate and complain. But I would rather you ask, and it doesn't matter what you're asking for. You can ask for it in a polite, effective manner. How you say what you say is just as important as what you say. Believe me, whatever it is, you can bring it up tactfully and it will be taken in the proper context if you phrase it in the proper context. So, just a real recap. 6 things that I would do right now. Build your career development plan to start building your skills. If you're watching this with me in real time, we're having an epic book release celebration August 6th in honor of the Zebra Code being brought to life for the global public. So you're welcome to come and join me to see exactly how to do that. I would keep a career achievements journal. So the skill building booklet that Kara put in the chat and the career achievements journal that Kara put in the chat, you're welcome to take those for free. That's number 2. Number 3 is, here we go. Make sure you are focusing on the value you're creating and your personal ROI. How can I personally get more value out of whatever I'm doing? Anything I'm doing. Get on a committee, take some action, network, and ask for what it is that you want. Okay, 26 minutes, maybe a little less when I cut out some of the fluff. If you enjoyed this, click the like button. Please make sure you subscribe because you know it hurts me when you miss my Tuesday morning recorded videos and my Thursday live shows. And if you found value out of this, please share it as well. If you're here with me live, we're going to the Q&A. If you're watching this on the recording, I'll see you next week. All right. Folks, you know I appreciate you showing up every week. Anybody who just joined me for the first time today, tell me you're a first-timer. If you happen to be a first-timer and you only discovered me on Tuesday when I was on my buddy Heather Austin's channel, let me know that in the chat too. I would love to take a picture for her and let her know that she has helped grow my network, just like I hope I helped grow her network on Tuesday. And if you did not see her and my powwow, well, I just love her. And that's reason enough just to watch the channel, but she's sharp and fun and offers awesome career advice as well. And I think you'll really, really connect with her. Check her channel out, Professor Heather Austin. She is absolutely fabulous. All right, let's see. I got a few other quick announcements. Take the skill building booklet. That's free. It's a big deal. It's awesome. It's very detailed. It lays all of this out for you. Next thing is I mentioned August 6th and 8th. Or August 6th I mentioned, but August 6th and 8th next week, Tuesday and Thursday, we've got a 2-day free, completely free, to anyone workshop. Tuesday is about, it's skill building codified, what the methodology is, from the Zebra Code, how you build your career development plan in general, overall. And then on Thursday, we're coming back to address your specific trade. How do you become the best of the best at what you do? So for me, that would be career coaching. For you, that might be an engineer, a project manager, a business owner, or whatever. The other thing is with the Zebra Code, anybody who orders the Zebra Code, so if you order it today in any format, it comes in hardcover, ebook, or audiobook. Kara's pinned it in the chat. You could just click it and go. We have a book club that I've been running since March, and there are a lot of leadership lessons in the community space. I've plucked them I've replicated them, I should say, from my leadership coaching program library. That's my leadership coaching subscription, where I meet monthly with my leaders to talk about career development and the skills they need to be building. I teach my latest and greatest strategies for building a rewarding career and a fulfilled life. And I've taken a half a dozen lessons from that library, and I've placed them for free in a private community for my Zebra Book Club members. It's free to join that book club as long as you pre-order the book. That's all I ask, in whatever format. So order it on your Kindle, order it in the audiobook, or my favorite is get the dang hardbound because it's just so pretty. Plus, I like having something of mine in your house. I want you to put it next to your bed, on your nightstand, or your bookshelf, or something like that. And always think about dear old Coach Andy. I like those constant reminders. And speaking of the book club, this morning we released a creativity session, the session on becoming creative. And it's a fantastic lesson on what I go through to generate my creative ideas. I talk more about how ideas come to fruition. It's in a video lesson with a workbook and a month-long challenge that's in the Zebra Book Club, which again is free if you pre-order number 4. Cool? Cool. Okay, Kara, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? No? All good? Okay. All right, questions. Let's see. Kara, where do I start here? There's a whole bunch of, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start with the stars. She gives me stars. Ian has a star next to his name. I was worried not having filled in the achievements journal for the past 30 years was super FOMO unfortunate. It's okay. You found me when you found me, buddy. However, I started year by year and bit by bit, and it turned into a synaptic memory jogger. That's because you thought about it, right? You think about it. And remember, I understand it's hard to recollect stuff that happened 5 and 10 years ago. Do your best. Do your best. And remember, you're trying to help somebody understand the skill sets that you have and how their lives and their teams and their companies are going to transform as a result of hiring you. So just keep that in mind. It's for illustrative purposes. Try to be as accurate as possible. Let's see. Terry, TD Washington, what's up? A comment, not a question. I asked a few weeks ago if I should let my supervisor know that I'm applying for other opportunities in the department. You said I should. I did, and he is totally supportive of my efforts to advance. Who wouldn't want to be supportive of your efforts to advance, TD? Right, Terry? I love it. Thank you for looping back with me on that. I love it. All right, Kara, where would you like me to start questions-wise? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Let me see. Some of those are the problems we were talking about. All right. Computer nerd. How about we start there, Kara? Computer nerd? Okay. I have lost contact with my references for a year or more. A few references disconnected their phone numbers or would not return my calls. Is sending an email or LinkedIn message an option? Okay. So I want to say a couple things about this. So the short answer, which will give you no value, is yes, it's completely okay to send them a LinkedIn message or text them or however email, whatever you want to do. Now, keep in mind that if you said, I've lost contact with my references for a year or more, these are people you haven't talked to in a while. You don't know if they're on vacation. You don't know if they're stressed out. You don't know what they're going through. You have no idea. Now, what I would say is, again, thinking about what can I control? The message I send to them, I can control that. Am I being as specific as possible with what it is I need, how it is I want to connect, what I need help with, and all that good stuff? So let me give you an example. When somebody sends me a message and says, Andy, I'm job searching, do you know of anything? It is very, very difficult for me to sit down and say, yeah, you should go here, there, and do this or that. I have no idea what companies the person's targeting, what type of role they're shooting for, if there's been any kind of gap in since the time I've talked to them. Maybe it's been 3 years. Well, that person's not frozen in time. They've evolved over 3 years. So you're going to need to catch me up on what you're doing. There's other data that I need. The more narrow the request you can make, the faster somebody can respond. So let me give you an example. So I got a message from a buddy who I haven't talked to in a while. And last week, he messaged me and said, hey, Andy, I'm looking for these kind of roles in consultancies. Let me know if you know of anything. I replied back within minutes, or at least within seconds of when I got the email. And I said, hey, I'm happy to help. What companies are you targeting? Because if you tell me what companies you're targeting, I can immediately say, I know, boom, 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 go contact them. Or I know them this well, this well, this well. What I did do after I sent him that message was, hey, by the way, I know we have a mutual friend. I know this guy just took a new job at one of those consultants. You should try to call him. All right, but that was right top of my mind. But if he would have sent me, hey, this is my situation. It's been a long time since I've actually talked to him live. But I would have been able to help him and respond faster. Your folks maybe, hey, I need to set time aside to call Computer Nerd, and it's going to take me 20 to 30 minutes to catch up with him, and I have to find a 20 to 30 minute block on my calendar to be able to do that, so I'm not even going to respond. People will do that. And so this is my way of saying, yes, it's okay to follow up in a different medium, but I also want you to realize you don't know what anybody's going through at any moment in time. And so, I'm getting requests right now for things, and these people don't know a new book's coming out. They don't know I need to have availability for the publicist for all the stuff that's coming in that I need to do. They don't know I'm having a launch party next week. They don't know any of that, right? So they might not understand if I don't respond right away. So just think about that. All right, let's see. Adam Stark, for PA, okay, I'm assuming personal assistant, office assistant, organizing roles. Best big eights to highlight. Have lots of related experience, more than I have for events, yet getting poor results targeting small to medium creative CEOs. Okay, so this is a great question. And what Adam is asking, for those of you that don't speak Andy, is when he says big eights, what he means is I claim, because this is, facts, that employers are always shooting for generally these 8 major goals, meaning all of you as employees, there are 8 major goals or accomplishments that employers care about. Generating revenue, increasing market awareness or increasing your brand recognition, that's 2. Third is customer attraction. 4th is customer service, making the customers happy. 5 is corporate growth, elevations, like going public, M&A. Maybe there's risk management, compliance, anything that solidifies the company and its health. That's number 5. Number 6, employee happiness. Number 7, cost reduction, expense reducing. And then number 8, process efficiency, which will result in savings, but I'm talking more engineering. Okay, those are the 8. So what Adam is asking me is, for a personal assistant or for an office assistant role, what are the best of the big 8s? The single best of those, to me, is going to fall into one of 2 buckets. It's service, meaning how I serve my manager, team, directors, or whatever, and operational efficiency. Are you making everybody's life around you easier? So the first thing I'm looking for, and I do coach a lot of executive admins, and we're always looking for, what do you do to create time for your whoever you're supporting, if that's 1 person or 4 people, right? Are you alleviating them from needing to do certain things? Are you prioritizing things for them that make their lives easier? And you are a face, not only internally to other units within your organization, that they may be going through you to get to the person, to the boss. So what is your service to them like? How efficient, pleasant, how much easier have you made it for everybody to do that? Have you streamlined processes? Internally, are things moving faster? And then externally, if you're a face, how do you handle external customers that might need to access those people? And it depends who you're supporting. But customer service and operations, to me, organization. I created an Excel spreadsheet that automates these things that used to take us 4 days, 8 days, 4 weeks manually to do. Admins can do that. I'm looking for that kind of efficiency. Those are your 2 biggies, for sure. Great question. All right, let's see. Felicia, what's up? It says also exec. Kara is, did I miss anything? I don't want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, just gonna go with this. Felicia, exec emailed me on a weekend to interview on a Wednesday. I emailed yes anytime that day. He never gave me a time and did not call. I confirmed my availability on Tuesday. What response? No response. What to do? Candidly, I would do nothing. Meaning, I got a message Saturday or Sunday, Friday, Saturday or Sunday. I said I'm available. They never got to you. You messaged on Tuesday. That was a follow-up that was appropriate, and I would not send any more. That's it. And then if a week goes by, now I wouldn't do anything because that to me is bad form. The person gave you a specific date. Now, if something happened and I'm unable to do that, and I got to travel, I got to do this or that, I would email you as a courtesy because I'm also putting on a face for you as well. I want to put my best feet forward, right? I want you to know what you're getting into. Somebody who does this, just folks, I'm all about the details. Details matter because every time somebody does something, they're sending you a signal. You go into a restaurant, if the tables are a little dirty, what do you think the kitchen looks like? So when you talk to somebody that says, I'd like to talk to you Wednesday, I don't have a problem with the person coming back and saying, hey, Felicia, something came up. I need to jump on a plane. I got to go. Can we talk on Friday or something like that? It's a must because this is what you're getting engaged in. And this is a potential employer for you. How do they want to represent themselves to you? So I personally would never send them another message, literally hard stop. If you feel compelled, I'd wait a week and say, hey, thank you so much for your message. I know we didn't get to connect last Wednesday. I'm still interested. If you're open to it, please let me know. That's it. I would not send anything else. I would make sure I don't take up more than one line. And that's what I would do. If you guys are loving this as much as I am, I'm just not even sure that's possible. But if it is, click the thumbs up button on the YouTube channel. Click the like button on the video, share it. Connect up with me on LinkedIn if we're not connected first degree. I know a lot of you follow me, but if you follow me and I'm not following you or I don't know you're following me, then I don't get to see all your posts. I don't get to answer your questions or see what issues you're facing or cheer you on when you get that new job or big pay raise. All right, Andy. Andy, my boot camper, what's up? If one was to accept a new job while out on paternity leave, how long would you wait after returning post-leave to hand in your notice to avoid burning bridges or paying back benefits? Okay, so this is a tough one because, so there's different situations, meaning if it's me and I'm out on paternity leave, and I've already accepted a new job, meaning, and by the way, I don't know how long paternity leave is, if it's 2 weeks that you're taking or if it's like 12 weeks. But for me, if you handed in your notice now and you just said, I'm not coming back, that would be what I would do because I'm all about the karma I leave. And if they say, okay, and by the way, you should not, at least in my understanding of most of these situations, you should not have to repay paternity leave. You're out on paternity leave. That's a benefit your organization offered you. If there's something that was conditional where they said to you, hey, we don't even have a paternity leave policy, but we'll give this to you, just make sure you come back. I don't know what those conditions are, but if it's me, best situation is you resign now and you say, I'm not coming back because you're giving them more of a chance to try to find your replacement. You could also go so far as to say, you know what? I'm 6 weeks into the 12-week paternity leave. I'm going to accept another job. I would love to help you recruit for my replacement or help train the other person. And I would be willing to do that part-time while I'm on paternity leave. That's like what I would do, because I just think that's the classy way to go. Now, I realize a lot of people, especially the people on my TikTok and on my Instagram and on my YouTube channel, where they see things about what I consider etiquette when resigning that apparently they don't agree with. I understand that. But I believe you get back what you give off. So that's what I would do. Then if you say to me, Andy, I can't do that. I need to finish out the 6 weeks. I'm going to go back and I'm going to resign. I'm going to tell you, I'm telling you this only because you put the burning bridges words in there. If you came back and at any time within months you resigned, that would burn a bridge with me. Because if you knew that you were going to leave and you didn't let me know as soon as possible to put me in the best position to recover from your departure, that's going to bum me out. And if you'd have said to me, Andy, I'm 6 weeks in, I know I'm not coming back, and you call me and you say, it's killing me to do this. This is just a better situation for me. Now that I have a kid or a new kid or the 8th kid or whatever, I need to be off the road. I would get that. And then I would say, okay, help me out. Do whatever you can. Can you interview? Can you screen a few people for me? And you know what I mean? Like that's what I would do. But not knowing your entire situation, it's hard. But I at least hope that what I just shared with you will get you to think about what will work best for you. Because what might work best for me might not work best for you. But that's how I think about those things. I'm always thinking long term. I don't ever leave breadcrumbs. I never want to look over my shoulder. I just don't. So I hope that helps. Cheryl, there is totally a link for the creative lesson. And if you email us at support@milewalk.com, I am absolutely certain that Kara will give that to you. Now, Cheryl, one other thing. If you just log into the community, Cheryl, because you're just awesome, I'm going to show you this. So we have a community which is totally killer. If you've never seen the Mile Walk Academy community, there's a zebra book club down here over here. This is private, and you will only see this if you're actually in the book club. And then what you do is you go into the video lessons, and then there's the becoming creative. All of these lessons are in there. And what we've done is we've taken the video from my leadership library. I don't know how long this is, but I'm guessing it's an hour or two. And then Kara has given you a little write-up, even though it says it's from me, it's really from Kara. There's a workbook that goes along with it. And then there's a bunch of people who are messaging down there. There's also the coaching links. So when we get together live, because these are the live interactions where I'm teaching you something else, those go in there. So Cheryl, all you need to do is go into the community and go into the video lessons. And then if you want to work the challenges, these go out every Monday. And so we'll start the challenge for the creativity stuff on Monday. There's other things in there, and you can go and knock your socks off. So it's really a great, and by the way, I suppose if you're wondering, if you want to get a bird's eye view of what the Zebra Code Book Club is, this page here is, I believe, is Kara, this is what you have probably pinned. If you just go in and order your copy and drop your info in, you're going to get all this. So all that stuff I just showed you, you're going to get all this. So we literally over here, we did this one today. All those are ready. And then by the way, just so you know, Zebras, we're coming back on August 19th as well. So there's August 6th and August 8th. That's open to the public, but this is August 19th will be a private lesson. And so you can get an idea of the book and how you might benefit. And there's a table of contents of what the book looks like. Because you can't see that until the book is actually officially on sale, I've actually put the table of contents. There's some other stuff. There's me going nuts, signing all kinds of books in the warehouse. But is totally, totally fun. So I hope that helps you there. If you're not in the Zebra Club, it's just silly. It just costs you even if you got the ebook, it's like, I don't know what it is, $15 or something like that. And you get over $1,000 of stuff. All right, Joel, how you doing, buddy? Given that LinkedIn does not have a space limit compared to a resume, should I keep an unrelated experience to cover a career gap, or should I remove it because it is a waste of space? Okay. So, Joel, it's interesting the way you phrase that. I mean this sincerely. There's not one thing I've ever done in my life that's a waste. Not one. There's not one person I've talked to that's a waste. I get more value out of talking to some than others. There's activities that I work on. I get more value out of some activities than others. I look at what goes on my resume and what goes in the LinkedIn profile in terms of what markets me best. If you happen to have a career gap there and you have some unrelated experience, meaning like you drove a limo when you're a software sales rep and you were off for 6 months and you drove a limo, I probably wouldn't put it there. If you did some other volunteer work or something of that nature, it's okay. There are many things that come into play. How long ago was it? How recent is it? How out of left field is it? So I'm going to leave you with, if you feel that markets you best, put it in. If you feel it doesn't really market you, take it out. If it's 6 months or so, it's okay. You don't need to worry. If it's 6 years, you don't need to worry because that's so long you were obviously doing something else. So without knowing how unrelated it is or how long it is, it's difficult to answer, but I would consider those factors. By the way, all of you that, on separate note, that have chimed in, I look at this chat in full because I watch this video. I will watch this video multiple times, and I will watch this video multiple times with the chat running. I'm looking for everything. So all of you that shouted out about first time, and Heather, if that is the case, don't worry, I'll see that and I'll let her know. But I do a lot of critiquing of myself, which is a part of skill building. I look at all the details. So just in case I zipped on by that and you're wondering why I didn't shout all that out. Danny, I accepted an offer with a leading semiconductor industry company. One of their on-site contractors had my resume and wants to interview me. I don't want to burn any bridges. Okay. So now, if I understand you correctly, you now have a full-time job with a semiconductor company, and they have contractors that are from other companies that are doing consulting work at their organization, and they fell in love with you and they want to steal you. First thing, know this. There is likely a no poaching clause in the employment agreement, in the contracting agreement that contractor has with your company. So the first thing is, I would, try to make sure that there's not a legal issue, because not only will there be a legal issue for the contractor, but then you're going to have egg on your face. So you need to be really careful. And I would try on the slide to figure out whether that's the case. I would go to the contractor. Now, number one, if it's a leading semiconductor and you have a great job and you like what you're doing and it aligns to your requirements and all that good stuff, then the question becomes, is this a better organization and a better opportunity than the contractors? So if you like where you are, then you stay put and you say, thank you, I'm really flattered, but no thanks. Now, if you're asking me this question because you want to interview with the contractor, then I'm going to say step number one, make sure there's no repercussions. Much of the time, any organization that's a consulting firm that steals a client, there's going to be retribution. It's not going to go over well. And it's the same kind of thing when a client steals a consultant and hires the contractor from the contracting firm to theirs. There's usually a no poaching clause, and there are repercussions that should be outlined in the thing. It could void the contract. There's all kinds of stuff that can go on. I've seen so many of these that there's some serious penalties. So I would ask the contractor, is there any conflict of interest? If I was to entertain this and we were to further the discussion, is there any repercussion? I would have the contractor check, because the contractor can go back, see whatever they signed and know for sure without you having to disclose that to anybody at your company. Then if the contractor comes back and says, no, there's no clause, there's a spirit, just remember this, anytime there's any kind of contract, there is a spirit to the contract. If you are behaving out of etiquette or out of spirit, that can have an equally damaging remarks. And anytime a contractor would say to your company, for example, well, there's nothing in the contract that states, anytime any party needs to point to the contract, you don't have a good relationship. So you factor all this in. Now, let's just say, sake of argument, you like the contracting company better and you genuinely think this is a better opportunity for me. Then I leave it to you to say, okay, go ahead, interview with them, make sure nobody finds out. If it works out, you say, hey, look, they made me an offer. It's really great. I want to be on the consulting side. I don't want to be a permanent employee or whatever. You make something up that your organization cannot address, because if it's, well, they're paying me more money. Well, I could give you more money to stay here. You don't want to get into that. So all of this comes into play, and you need to make sure all of it's evaluated and you're buttoned up before you take that step. This really comes down to what you want. But I want you to know that what you want could have ripple effects between the relationship between the company and the contractor. That's a great question, bud. All right. Hey, Kara, how we doing on time here? 11:55. All right, let's keep rolling. Buffer Monster. Do I need to contact my references before applying for a job, interviewing for a specific role at a company, or talking to a recruiter about a specific position? Thank you. Buffer Monster, I love this question. And I have a video that I would highly recommend you watch about everything you'd want to know about references, meaning it's like your ultimate reference guide. There's a video. If you search my YouTube channel, there's probably a half an hour or 45-minute video on all the behaviors of references from the time you start all the way to the time you get the offer and they start checking references. What do you do? Who do you call? What do you tell the recruiter? What do you tell the hiring official? What do you do when they ask for references? I go through every single stage. It's on the YouTube channel. So, do you have to contact your references? If I'm job searching, I will have a handful of references, 3 to 5 or whatever it might be, and I will alert them, hey, I want to make sure you know I'm job searching. Would you be a reference? I will let you know if anybody's going to contact you or if I put you down as a reference. I'd let them know that. Get acknowledgement that they received your message. Text them, fax them, tweet them. I don't care what you do. Just make sure they know. Then you're going to go and you're going to work with recruiters, hiring officials, human resources people, and so on. If you are applying for a job, meaning against every fiber of my being, you're actually submitting an application for employment, they're likely going to say, Buffer, can you put down 3 references? Pick 3. I don't care which 3 you pick. Of your 5, just pick 3. Put them down. The minute I talk to a recruiter, if I've given them anybody's name, say, hey, this is great. I really look forward to you, blah, blah, blah. By the way, I did fill out the application in full. I put some references down, but would you do me a favor? And if we get to the point where you're going to call my references, would you let me know that? Because I want to alert my references, and I might give you different references, because if based on what happens in the interviewing process, there are certain aspects of my background that you want to ask references about. I want to make sure I'm giving you the best references that can speak to that. Doing this, giving presentations, handling issues, whatever it is. And so what that does is, and most companies will adhere to that, and you're just asking politely, I want to give you the best references. And I put 3 down because you asked me, but if we get to the point where you're about to extend an offer, or you extend an offer and you would like to check my references, I'm happy to give you the best references. At that time, I'll give you their names, their numbers, their relationship to me, and so on. I go into all this chapter and verse in that video. Check it out. AG, you're a boot camper, so I'm not sure which AG you are, and I appreciate your abbreviation of the boot camp hashtag. I'm interviewing for a senior director role. Interviewer asked about managing people. I told him a story about skiing and helping people with their goals. Now worried I don't look senior enough. So I'm not sure what your question is. If you're asking me what I have given that, my answer would be no. I'm going to just shoot you straight. Right. And then my next question is, why would you choose that as opposed to you managing people? And if you say, hey, Andy, I have never managed people, then you need to give them an answer about how you've influenced people. So the pecking order is, okay, I have a team. Here's how I manage them. No, I don't have a team, but I'm the project manager and I'm responsible for like 60 people contributing to this, and it's a matrixed organization and I have to run the show, then you're going to talk about that. If you've never managed people ever, like you don't have like anything, number one, I question if the management of people is truly a skill, because if they've seen that you in no way, shape, or form have any inclination of how to manage people or no experience, I'd wonder why they were interviewing you. So it must not be that important. So I would then want to give them some type of corporate example of how I would manage people and what my principles are and how I interact with my teammates or how I manage my customers or whatever it is. I would have given them something that aligned to skill sets that they identified and need in the job description. I don't want to say never, but I would, as much as possible, try to avoid any personal examples unless they ask you for one. So that's my thought there. Joel, Andy, do you personally check your LinkedIn messages? I do. I read every single one of them. And I think I've told you this before. Here's how I read my LinkedIn messages. There's 1,000 of them every day. 20 of them are spam, meaning legit fake profiles. So I have to like, okay, fake. Okay, something comes in. Then first thing I do is I look for a question mark, meaning what are they asking me? If it's, will you review my resume? Will you do this and that? Then what I'll do is I'll either reply to it and say, I don't give free advice. If you'd like to come to my show or get in the programs, email support, this and that, Zoom. If it's, Andy, thank you so much, I landed my job, I reply 100% of the time, no exceptions. I will reply. And so that's how I read my LinkedIn messages. And then I get a ton that try to sell me stuff, which I don't reply to. Cheryl, how do I create? Oh, by the way, Joel, wait, just real quick. And any of you boot campers or anybody in my programs, LinkedIn or anywhere, or Circle or Instagram or TikTok or X or Facebook or whatever, my direct message box is not the place to get support. If you have support, you either have paid for support, go in the system to get the support in the online support module in the job search coaching program, or in the online support product in the job search coaching library, or Andy AI or whatever. But I don't give support in my LinkedIn inbox. It's impossible. It would be impossible. Not to mention, I want to track what I'm doing with you. Cheryl, how do I create a career development plan when the company I'm looking for a product manager job in a different industry than I know nothing about? Cheryl, your career development plan is based on the goals you have. If your goal is to be a product manager, there are going to be skill sets that align to the product management role. There might be working knowledge of the product itself. It could be the management of people. It could be the processes that you implement. It could be presentations, business case development. It could be, communication, mentoring people. It could be a whole host of things that you want. Your development plan is a function of what those goals are, the skills you need to build. Where are you going to learn the communication? You can learn it in Andy's leadership library, because there's a host of lessons tailored to everything that you need to communicate, and so on. And then all of these things need to coincide with, let your work deliverable pull you, meaning I have a presentation coming up in September. I need to pitch this to the board. All right, we're going to start working your presentation skills from now. We're going to work your business case skills. We're going to work your presentation skills. We show you how to write and package this stuff. These are skills you need to build. All right, that's a work deliverable that I have with a due date. All right, now there's I'm looking for a product manager job. Is that a pursuit where you know you're going to be a product manager, but you're trying to build product management skills? If you're trying to build product management skills and the associated skills that go with that, that needs to be on your calendar. And I personally have skill. So here's what my development plan looks like. Okay, in November. Okay, we're in August. It's the 1st. In November, I'm going to be delivering a job search challenge, just like I have been doing for the last 7 years. There's a 5-day event, right? I've got this thing down, right? I've done it so many times. I know how to do workshops, and I know how to run all this stuff. Okay. Well, I might want to better my marketing and sales skills. So in October and in the middle of September, I might be working on those skills because I know I need to practice them because I have a thing coming. Every week, I write you a newsletter. I have been for many years, for 9+ years. I've been sending a newsletter every Tuesday. Well, there's copywriting skills that go along with something I do every week. There's presentation skills for something I do every week. Well, I set a little time aside to actually learn better ways or check my routines. Am I getting away from my good practices? And I'm constantly doing this. And so every weekend, what I'm doing for the following week is I'm making sure there's time on my calendar. So in September, I will be looking for an hour a week to look at my marketing skills or ways I can improve my marketing of the Mile Walk Academy, because I know just in time I'm going to need it. So for you, you have to carve the time out to build a skill. When I wanted to create and put up a YouTube channel, for 2 weeks prior to creating the first video, I spent 5 minutes a day looking through the camera and making sure that I understood how to do that. Now, I wasn't really good when I turned it on, but I gave myself 5 minutes a day. Y'all are interviewing and you're doing a lot of Zoom interviews and you'd never, video interviewed before a few years back. Well, you should be able to do this without losing your concentration. I don't need to look at any notes and I can tell you the story. That's practicing a skill. So you have to identify, well, what are the skills I need? When do I need them? You could put stakes in the ground. I want to be a certain level of proficiency by, but that also means you need to put the time in and on your calendar. So every weekend when I'm planning this thing, on it goes, first thing that goes on it is, when am I building me? Not what's due on Tuesday. When am I building me? Where does that go? Monday lunch, Saturday 4 o'clock, or where it goes, wherever I can do it that week. But every week, every Monday, whether the market goes up, down, this way, that way, sideways, or whatever, I take money out of one account and I put it here to invest it every Monday, just because I want the routine that never stops, because I call it the I don't care method. Like, I don't care what's happening. I don't care if I have a job or not, I'm networking. I don't care if the market's going up or down, I'm investing. I don't care. Like, it's always about, this is the routine, and we are a function of our routines. The level of success we can attain is from the routines we set. If I don't have a routine that says pay myself first in my bank account or pay myself first in my skill building, you're never going to do it. Because why? Because you're going to be focusing on other people's emergencies or a boss that's unorganized. Why is your bad planning my problem? Right? That's what a lot of us go through, right? The boss comes in, they're like, oh, I forgot to tell you. Now it's your problem. Well, as much as possible, try to insulate yourself from that and not being at the whim of everybody else's issues or urgencies or whatever. That's how I do that. It's amazing, the transformation of the people that I work with when we're working on high performance coaching as opposed to job search coaching, and the difference and how uncomfortable it is to reshape the way they actually live their lives. Because that's the first thing that I have to break, is the bad habits that people have of being reactive because of all the stuff that they have happening around them. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's hard. So that's what I say. Now, you're saying I'm looking for something in an industry that I know nothing about. My step number 1 to you is you need to learn about the industry to know that you actually want to go there. And so, do you know enough? Somebody asked me a question on Heather's show Tuesday, and he was asking about a career change. And I said, the first step I would take, and so I would say this to you, Cheryl, or anybody else that's thinking of a change of any kind. First thing you need to do, find somebody who's doing that job and talk to them. Find somebody in that sector who's doing product management work and ask them, what's it like? What's the day in the life like? What skills do I need? What do you love? What do you hate? What would you change? And all that. suggestions for somebody starting out. They are going through it. They're in the thick of it. They'll have the best insight. Then it's about learning. Then do I want to do it? And then it's about learning. And then it's about putting all these other things and working it religiously. So one of the things that is going to be valuable for you is Thursday, August 8th, because I'm going to talk a lot about this. That's a good question. I think I probably just went off there. That's a really good one, though. Really good. All right, let's see. What else we got here? Andy Wallace, current company requires payback of all the benefits paid during paternity leave if an employee doesn't return from leave. In that case, I would probably finish it out. Or what if you, I don't know if this is a possibility. Let's say you're 6 weeks into a 12-week thing. Why not say, I'm coming back next week? Then give them the 2-week notice, or wait a week or two, give them a 2-week notice, and then off you go. It's not a great situation. Alternative, another option. This one, this would probably be my first option, is, hi company, I'm leaving. Bye-bye. I will help you in whatever way I can to transition my knowledge and help you recruit. New company, you need to pay old company my payback. For any of you that think what I just said is crazy, if I had a nickel for every time I actually had to negotiate as an executive recruiter, stealing somebody who wasn't at a company long enough, who had to pay back signing bonuses and moving expenses and those kinds of things, right? Companies won't bat an eye if they really want you. It also depends what kind of company you're going to. That's another option. So consider that. All right, let me see. Elma, what is this? Any tips in dealing with a difficult boss who wasn't the one who interviewed you and started later than you? The person is disorganized, does not know how to motivate people. Okay, I'm going to the boss, and I'm by the way, I'm going to say what I'm going to say to the boss based on how can I help you? Meaning, I'm not going to, okay, so when you go to a boss and you say, you're disorganized, it's hurting me, or you don't know how to motivate people, everybody doesn't like you. I know you're not, Elma, I know you're not going to say that. Okay, but I would go to the boss and say, hey, I noticed that when this happens, it's taking us a lot longer too. We don't have what we need when. It's taking me longer to start. It's taking the team longer to start up, because it would be really helpful if we had this and this. So I was thinking one of the ways we could save you time, or we can save the team time, or save the team money, is if when we start this kind of project, we do this first. It's just an example, and you could paint whatever scenario you need. But my message to you is, when you go to the boss, it's about helping the boss. This will help you, because now you're saying, I want to help you, instead of you stink. And then if it doesn't motivate people, I would say to the boss, one of the things I know that would really help me stay on track. Now you're helping me. It's not an affront on you, right? Is if insert whatever is going to motivate you, and that's the way I go about it. It would be really helpful if, and you're saying it in a manner like I'm helping all of us, and it's not an assault on you. So that's the way I would do that. Okay, Joel, when is the best time to share a pitch deck? Email it in advance of an interview to give the audience time to go through it, or just present it during an interview? So a couple things here. One, I want to say, or I'm assuming they're asking you for this. If they did not ask you for a pitch deck, do not give them a pitch deck, and do not email it. If they say, Joel, we got an interview coming up, it's a panel interview, we would like you to make a presentation, I am not sending it to them at all, ever. I want them to see it, and I want to say what I want to say to maximize the effect I'm going to have, the surprises the bombs I'm going to plant, and all that other stuff. And I want them seeing it for the first time. because I want to elicit a reaction. Remember, I've taught you this before. When you go into an interview, all you're trying to do is elicit a feeling that you want. You use stories and words and other things and effects to do that. And so I'm always thinking, what's the feeling I want them to have? I want them to know I'm organized. I want them to know I have a playbook. I want them to feel that I'm a strong communicator. I want them to know I know how to sequence things. I'm efficient. I'm whatever. That's what they're doing. That's what an interviewer is doing, right? I feel like he knows his stuff. Let's hire him. Versus he was all over the place, even if you knew your stuff. Let's not hire him. Next thing is you don't want them seeing anything, because then what happens? They ain't listening to you. They started drawing their own conclusions. So you're asking the question makes me think that you have the choice here. If they say to you, Joel, put it together and send it to us on Tuesday before you come in on Wednesday, then you're going to send it to them. And that's still going to suck. But if they don't say anything, you show up with it and you present it. Great question. Great question. Love it. Are you guys loving this? Everybody subscribe to the station? Has anybody thanked Kara for all she does? Can we take a moment and do that? And let's not be silent about it. Give like heart Kara or something in the chat that lets her know we all love her. And you should really thank her, because if it was not for her, you would not know me. Let's do it. Let's thank Kara. All right, I'm going to go on to the next question. All right, Tracy, how to approach updating bullets based upon the Great 8 for jobs from a long time ago. I have been focusing on the 2 most recent jobs, which covers the last 15 years and are most relevant. Tracy, okay, number 1, awesome question. Number 2, thank you for saying that. Like, that's very helpful, meaning, can everybody give Tracy a huge shout out, because Tracy asked a question in an awesome format and she gave Coach Andy what he needed, because instead of me speculating and taking you down 7 paths, I know what I'm going to say based on what you told me. So because the last 15 years are the most relevant, and you probably have the best recollection and most insight from those, that's cool. The further away you get from today, as you are putting your companies and your roles on your resume, the further away you get from today, the less real estate your jobs from 15, 20, or 30 years ago should take. Now, I'm not saying cut it at 15. I'm saying some of you are better marketed with 30 years of experience. Some of you are better marketed with 12 years of experience. Some 18. It depends. Whatever markets you best. But when you get down further away, try to articulate as best you can, even if it's intangible, the benefits that your organization realized as a result of you doing the Great 8. So for those of you that don't go to the Andy LaCivita School of Resume Writing, remember this. There's the company. So on the left side, there's the company. Always company first, never title first, ever. It says I'm not a team player. Next, title. Underneath the company, there's a little descriptor of what the company's goal in life is, and what, if it's a large company, where you sat in the organization, your focal point. Underneath the title, there's housekeeping. What do I mean by housekeeping? Housekeeping is the mundane stuff that is important to communicate, but is not Great 8 related. Meaning, if I just wanted you to understand that I managed a portfolio of 80 clients and a $3.2 million book of business, that in and of itself is nothing. It's just telling you I had 80 clients and a $3.2 million book of business. I don't know if it was 7 million and you cut it in half, or if you had 40 clients and you went to 80. Now, I just want the context because it gives me something. Then a Great 8 is, well, how much did you grow it? So, went from 0 to 80 clients within whatever, generating 3 new products to sell, blah, 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 and whatever. Okay, that's a bullet. So a bullet addresses a Great 8. If the bullet doesn't address the Great 8, it's not a bullet. Take it off your resume or stuff it into the housekeeping. So some of you say, well, Andy, I can't get my resume into 2 pages, which, haha, I laugh. And then I say, you're putting a lot of stuff on there that A, nobody cares about, B, doesn't sell you. And if that bullet doesn't hit the grade 8, one of those 8 things I said, it's not a bullet. It's not an accomplishment. And the effect goes first, meaning the benefit goes first, the cause goes second all the time. You want to show what the delta was and what happened as a result of you doing what you did. Those are the first words that the reviewer needs to see. Increased revenue, decreased time, improve this, decrease that. That goes first, and then a number, and then whatever you did to make that happen. That's the way the bullet's written. And in the leftmost piece is the grade 8 part itself. So when you go back that many years, most people are they're like really skimming it anyway. But if you can at least get something in there that talks about what the benefit was, that's good enough. And believe me, you can. And if you can't, you go 15 years ago, if you just want to have housekeeping, just have housekeeping. That's okay too. It would really be helpful to obviously see the whole resume so that I could tell you housekeeping here, none there, or bullets there. But I think you'll be in order. That's a great question. All right. Okay, I see lots of hearts and lots of smooches for Kara. She's very lovable. She's all around great person. My partner in crime. All right, what else we got? We got anything left? 12:20? You guys ran out of questions? Come on, I got till 12:30, man. I got 9 more minutes. I'll just keep talking. Question, Andy, how would you list companies on a resume if you were doing a job indirectly through a consulting firm? List consulting firm or target company. Okay, so a couple things. If you were at the consulting organization, now there's multiple kinds of consultancies. So let's take the 2, just genericize. I worked for Anderson Consulting, which is now Accenture. That's the company name. That's what I worked for. I did a bunch of stuff, and then I had a bunch of clients, and I worked for Amoco and Koch Industries and McDonnell Douglas and a whole bunch, a lot of them. Now, I might pick select clients, and then I would either say large global oil company or Amoco or whatever, British Petroleum. And then I would talk about what the benefit was, what I did. That's one way. And then you're putting in select projects for a major consultancy. Another kind of consultancy could be a contract. I talked to a woman this morning, my 7 a.m. I don't know if she's here, but I had somebody at 7 o'clock. She was working through a consultancy that was a preferred vendor. She is a one-of-a-kind marketer working through a consulting firm who is a preferred vendor to the oil company she happens to be working for. Okay, in that case, you could do a couple things. You could say, she could have her own name, like, whoever LLC, and then she could say, provide contracting services, marketing services for handling these kind of functions for these kind of companies. That's what I do. That's my business. And then she could go into who the client was and talk about, she's building a new brand, rebranding, brand strategy, value prop, and all that to market this company. And she could do it that way. It's another way to do it. Or if you were working for a very long period of time, let's just say, I'm just going to throw this out. Let's say you're 3 years at a company, but you're a contractor and you're working through a consultancy or you're working direct and you want to put the company name, you put the company name because if that sells you best, you put the company name and then you say contractor in parentheses next to the company name, or your title becomes consultant / contract or whatever you want to call it. Or you put the title as your function like project manager, and then you put contractor next to it in parentheses, and then you treat it just like you were a full-time employee. Andy, I could spin you gold any which way, man, but you pick whatever works best for you on that. All right. Yes, Kara is great. I'm just reading. Now, Kara, is Kara still with us? Kara, I'm now in the chat. I've gone from the Slack to the chat. Did everybody get my Zebra Code book? There's been plenty of time for you to pre-order it. There's been plenty of time to pre-order it. Anybody have any questions about the Zebra Book Club? Oh, God. All right, let's see what else. Felicia, 3 of the companies I had 2 of 3 interviews with have told me the jobs are on indefinite hold. I'm in the construction industry and starting to freak out due to this. What to do? Okay. Number 1, for those people that do not know this, but in the last rolling 18, 24 months, the 3 leading industries of new jobs is healthcare, construction, and government. Now, the government part is a little mind-blowing, but what the government part does is nothing to the gross domestic product. Not one of those jobs that the government hires contributes anything to retail or the movement economically of the GDP. Construction does, and there's still a lot of construction organizations that are in order. Now, I understand there might be a tightening, but to that I would say it only takes one, I'd keep going. And again, I'm all about what I can control. I'm going to say to you, because I know you go to the Andy School, everything, you got to keep feeding the funnel, right? You got to keep reaching out and running the job search challenge. Don't freak out. I'm telling you, it's not terrible. Okay, what else we got? Mike W., I saw you in Heather Austin's recent webinar, and now I'm in the Zebra Book Club. Mike W., great to have you. Is anybody else in the Zebra Code Book Club because of Heather? Wait, believe me, I will read this chat twice, and I will take pictures for her, and I love that y'all, and I love her, and I think any of you that came over from her community, welcome to you, and just we both want to support you in any way that we can. We really do. All right, what else? We got it? That's it for questions? Okay, folks, I'm going to get rolling. I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and I hope y'all, if you're in the Zebra Book Club, you got the creativity lesson. Check it out. It's pretty sweet. If you're not, consider getting in the Zebra Book Club. All you need to do is pre-order the book. You go drop your order number in. If you get a digital order, like an audiobook or an ebook, it gives you the DO number. It'll say DO something if you got it from Amazon or one of those places. Just plop it in. If you order the hardcover, you're going to get an order number. Just throw that in. The creativity lesson is available already. If anybody, doesn't matter if you have the book or not, on Tuesday at 1:30 and Thursday at 1:30. Those are not my usual slots. I'm going to be having the 2-day event. If any of you are on my launch team only, we're meeting on Monday, August 5th at 1:30 to do a powwow around some things around the book. Hopefully you can make that. Anybody that has any questions about anything, any of the products, services, the books, or any of that, please email us at support@milewalk.com. And any of you that are new from Heather's crew, I don't know if you know this, but I have an interview intervention book. It's something of a Bible for interviewing. This $29 book, I will send to you anywhere in the world for $7 US. Kara, maybe can we drop that in the chat for anybody who's actually still listening to me? $7 US. You get the hardcover, you get the ebook, and you get the audiobook. The ebook alone on Amazon is like $10, $9. So it's a deal. And I'll send this to you anywhere in the world, even in Perth, Australia, which is basically the farthest place on the planet from me. And so it'll really help you. It's a budget-friendly aid. And it's just been a joy. I released it in 2012. This is a re-release cover in 2018, and I've been giving it away ever since. So I want you to get to where you want to go. Any way I can help you do that, I'm happy to do it. If you're interested in this and you're not quite sure where to go, support@milewalk.com, and I or Kara will give you the link. All right, Interview Intervention is the best book ever. Patty, thank you. I hope you say that about the Zebra Code too. All right, y'all. Love you lots. Thanks for hanging with me for 90 minutes. I hope that helped. Lots of luck on your searches and in your career. Get happy, baby. Get happy, and I'll see you on Tuesday.